Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to another live stream here on the channel. Hopefully everyone is having a great Thursday so far. Let's see, we have in the chat, we have Kenny, Caleb, Indiana, Pete. You rebranded your profile picture and your name. I'm gonna still call you Pete. So Pete, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you in here. Jason, Bond Edits, Misty, let's see, Caden, Anna, and Sam, and everyone else who is in the chat, or everybody else who may just be watching and not chatting. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you in here. Ponderosa, as well as Cruz. And yeah, let's dive right on into this. Let's switch on over to, let's see. Hold on a second. I'm going to fix that. Okay, now we can switch on over to this scene. So hope everything's good. All right. It's always a gamble when switching to these scenes. I never know what's going to pop up there. But yeah, a lot of the times, actually, what was it? I think it was yesterday I opened Streamlabs and the whole screen wasn't even there. The entire screen was just gone. Like the display capture just wasn't rendered or something. It deleted itself. I don't know how. Maybe I did it by accident, but it was just gone. So, like I said, you never know what you're going to see when I switch over to this scene. Let's see. Why did today get overhyped so much? So I was saying 80 to 85 mile-an-hour winds possible. Like that's the maxed. But the tornado watch that was just issued is 80 mile-an-hour winds likely. So therefore I upped the title from 80 to 90 mile-an-hour winds because that tornado watch is 80 mile-an-hour winds likely. So we could get gusts as high as 85 to even 90 miles per hour today. According to the SPC, personally, I see 80 mile an hour winds being the most, but they are starting to push the 85 to 90 mile an hour mark there. Also, hailstones likely going to approach 2 to 3 inch in diameter. I think we'll see a couple 2 to maybe a few 3 inch in diameter hailstones. And then I do think we'll see a couple tornadoes. I think we'll see a few tornadoes, and I do think we have the chance for a strong tornado. It's not a very good chance, but I think we have a chance for a strong tornado. Albeit that chance for a strong tornado has decreased over the last couple of hours because we've had a very, very messy mode this morning. I talked about it in a reply on Twitter with somebody. Just a very messy amount of afternoon convection that was not anticipated is across the open warm sector, and that is demolishing our warm sector across the east-northeast portion of Nebraska. Now, you may be saying, you know, that's not really where we're expecting the absolute worst of today. If we take a look at that enhanced risk area, the enhanced risk is over, you know, really just the southern portion of that overconvection. So our main overconvection is up here. And if we take a look at that, that's only like the northwest side of our enhanced risk. But the problem with that is it stalled the arrival of our moisture and our instability, and thus our cape out here is a lot lower, and it's also left a bit of a cool pool. So this overconvection is going to lead to multiple different things. It's leading to a cool pool, it's leading to a lack of instability, it's leading to a capping, and it's going to lead to a messy mode. So it's really going to lead to a lot less of a severe threat today, and I think that's why we have a low-end tornado watch for tornado probabilities. It is only a 40% and then a 20%. So the tornado risk overall has probably come down quite considerably since this morning. Looked like a really good setup this morning with over 5,000 cape across much of Nebraska. And now there's going to be a little areas, there's going to be some spots where we see maybe pushing 5,000 instability as opposed to like much of the state of Nebraska. So we'll dive on more into that actually right now. Hold on, Lucky's decided to message me. Okay. random message by Lucky. Let's go over to mesoanalysis. I want to show you guys what I'm talking about. So I'll show you the primary area where I'm going to be watching today. But overconvection should be a big time issue. I agree with, I think it was Caden. I think Caden said that, like, people are overhyping today. I do think today has quite the amount of hype, but I haven't seen like an absurd amount of it, to be honest with you. So yeah, there's your hotspot, very clear hotspot for tornado ingredients today across central Nebraska. That's going to slowly drift more to the north. So I really don't think that's going to move too much, but it is going to move a little bit more northward, and then also increase in favorability. And then if we look at instability, you could see a small area is up to 5,000. Pretty good destabilization occurring out here in northwestern Missouri. I am questioning that. No model run showed anything more than 3,000 cape. No model showed anything more than 3,000 cape out there in northwest Missouri this morning. So see if the new HRRR fixed that. The new HRRR wants that all to disappear in like an hour. Goes from 6,000 to like 4,000 in an hour. So I do wonder if that's going to play a role in storms. I don't think it will, but that's just something, a bit of a wild card that I think we should pay attention to today, just to see where that cape goes. And then you can see your cool pool that has been left out here from that afternoon convection out here in eastern Nebraska, across our enhanced risk area. I could say one thing that I am really shocked about. This is what I'm shocked about today. The placement of the enhanced risk has blown me away. I think this is personal opinion. I think this is terrible enhanced risk placement. I do not agree with where the placement of this enhanced risk is by any means. I really don't agree with that placement. I think the west portion of that enhanced risk is good, like right in here. I do agree partially with the southwest side of that enhanced risk, but in my opinion, the greatest risk for severe storms today is in this area here, actually on the west side of that enhanced risk to well outside of the enhanced risk, in my personal opinion. If we take a look at the tornado ingredient, rather the tornado probabilities there, you can see the SPC does have a 5% actually extending well outside that enhanced risk, which is really good. I agree with that. The wind risk, they have that 15 sig. That's new. That 15 sig is freaking huge. That is a ginormous 15 hatched. Gracious day. 106,000 square miles. That thing is a huge hatch risk for damaging winds. Big change there on the 4 o'clock update. And then the hail risk, I agree with that as well. See, the hail risk, I like that placement. That's a lot better placement than the enhanced risk for wind, in my opinion. So I feel like that enhanced risk needs to shift. Like, in my personal opinion, I'm going to keep saying that just so you know, this portion of the enhanced risk, chop that off and put it over here. And then I feel like that would be a good enhanced risk, in my opinion. But we'll see. I don't have a lot of confidence in things growing upscale tonight. The National Weather Service, if you read their newest outlook at the SPC site, let's see. Did they take it off? Somewhere in here, they mentioned an intense MCS with winds of 80 miles per hour. I don't see that. Overall scenario, low severe probabilities. Okay, that's for the mid-Mississippi Valley. We ain't looking out there. That's closer to Illinois and southern Wisconsin. Let's see. Yeah, they don't mention it anymore, so they did take that wording off. Might be on one of the MCDs. I'm going to take a quick look at the Tornado Watch MCD. So we already have our Tornado Watch, but the MCD for that watch being issued, a severe MCS is forecasted tonight with increasing damaging wind potential, significant wind gusts over 75 miles per hour appear likely. So we're looking at a quite notable risk for damaging winds, and I don't see a model run that shows that outside the NAM 3K, which even the NAM 3K is downtrended on that damaging wind potential to some extent. It still shows damaging winds. Let's see. Its peak wind gust is about 75, 80 miles per hour. And that's for an hour or so, and then it weakens relatively quickly after that. So I personally don't see it getting up to past 80 miles per hour, but we'll see. We'll see exactly how today plays out. I just personally, I don't really agree with enhanced risk going that far east at the moment. And also, I want you to note the NAM, for anybody using the NAM 3K 18Z, it is significantly underdone the overconvection and is significantly overdoing the instability. It's not handling that overconvection well whatsoever. So, if there is a crazy MCS potential tonight, I feel like it's going to be right in here if that does occur. But really, I'm really unsure about that. But that's what the SPC is talking about. But right now, we are starting to see a couple severes pop off here. We've got one out here in south central Nebraska for observed 1-inch hail and radar indicated 60-mile-an-hour winds. We've got another severe in southwest Kansas for 1.25-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds just for 2 more minutes, so that's about to expire. One east of Denver, Colorado for observed 60-mile-an-hour winds. The main threat in Colorado today by a milestone is damaging winds. That's going to be the biggest issue out here if you live in Colorado, going into western Kansas and southwest Nebraska. Also a severe in far northeastern New Mexico for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. We've had a couple special weather statements, and by a couple, I mean quite a lot of special weather statements across this portion of the eastern, southeastern United States. Nothing really that notable. The SPC dropped the slight risk for severe weather today, which in my opinion was a good call. Last night, things looked pretty good for damaging winds, and then this morning, it just looked like storms were going to struggle to fire and maintain, and thus they decided to drop that much of that slight risk for severe weather. So we'll continue to monitor out here in the southeastern U.S., but I don't think we'll see nearly as bad of a damaging wind threat today as what we saw yesterday. Yesterday was a very notable damaging wind bag across a good chunk of the eastern and southeastern U.S. I think we're up to almost 300 wind reports. I'll go check real quick if the SPC site wants to load. No, it don't want to load. Okay, well, I'm going to try a different way then. Aha, 296 wind reports across the U.S. yesterday, and a very large chunk of those were in South Dakota, Virginia, and North Carolina. Those were your 3 main states for damaging winds yesterday. Tomorrow's the biggest day of this week, right? Nope, today is. I do think tomorrow also has a chance for a few tornadoes. There might be a very conditional strong tornado threat, but today has the best opportunity to produce multiple tornadoes, possibly even a strong one. But again, I kind of feel like we've been downtrending ever since about 1:30, 2 o'clock Eastern. I feel like we've been downtrending with today's severe threat, in my opinion. So if you are just now tuning in, a tornado watch has recently been issued across Nebraska. That's this purple thing right in here with the white outline around it. So that is a tornado watch with quite high-end wind probabilities. So this is a high-end moderate probability tornado watch for wind and hail. 60-60 for wind, 60-60 for hail, and the tornado threat is actually on the lower side. There is a good chance, 40% chance of 2 or more tornadoes, so we could still see a few spin-up tornadoes. And then there is the very low chance, but definitely non-zero chance for a strong tornado today. So we'll need to keep an eye on that. Just keep an eye on any discrete storms that may be able to form in the open warm sector. But main threat today is definitely going to be damaging winds and large hail. Initially, it's going to be large hail, tornado threat, and then as we go towards the evening hours, it's going to combine more into a wind threat and spin up tornado threat. So I think our greatest tornado risk today in terms of time frame is probably from about 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'd say 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock tonight or this evening will be our primary tornado threat. And I got to be honest, I'm trying to relay to you guys the information that the SPC is saying, like a couple tornadoes being possible, and then the damaging winds of 80 to 90 miles per hour, and then the hailstones of 2 to 3 inch in diameter. But honestly, I'm not seeing that high of hazards today. I do think we could see a cell or two produce 80 mile an hour winds, possibly up to 3-inch hail as well. But I'm not seeing nearly as high end of a threat as what this looked like earlier this morning. And that tornado threat just doesn't look that good. So I'm still going to relay the max possible hazards for today. So the worst case scenario today is 80 to 90 mile an hour winds, 2.5 to 3-inch hail, a couple tornadoes, and an isolated strong tornado. That's the high end forecast for today. What we will probably see with these recent downtrends, most likely we're going to see a lot of storms produce 60 mile an hour winds, maybe a few 70 mile an hour wind gusts. Could still get that gust as high as 80, but probably not more than that. Hailstones, probably a few 1 to 2 inch in diameter, maybe one of 2.5 inch in diameter, and then probably a spin up tornado or two. So it just looks like this is bad. Like, if I'm looking at this, if I'm chasing right now in eastern Nebraska and I see this, that is almost turn around, go home, call it quits type radar imagery right there. Because it is 4:48 in the afternoon here on the East Coast. That's 3:48 out there in Nebraska, which is in the middle of your peak time frame for daylight heating. Hence the high amount of instability. And we're just having a lot of overconvection in the primary area for thunderstorms. And that's allowing for, instead of us destabilizing to what the NAM3K was saying, like 5,500, 6,000 CAPE out here. Let me go see. I'm going to go check real quick. Yeah, it was saying 5,300 instability in this area. 5,300 instability at 5 o'clock Eastern time, which is just 12 minutes from now. And in reality, I don't think we're anything more than about 2,000 CAPE right now. So we are very much underperforming in instability out here. And that's why again... I'm uncertain about that damaging wind potential, because if you guys don't know, derechos, MCS's damaging winds as a whole absolutely love and thrive off of high amounts of instability and high amounts of downdraft instability as well. Downdraft CAPE. We have quite a bit of downdraft CAPE, especially in central and eastern Nebraska. But again, it just looks like we're having a lack of actual surface-based and mixed layer instability out here. Now, values are like right around the 2,000 range, so, that's still enough for thunderstorms, but the problem is it's leaving a cool pool. It's leaving a cool pool where the environment has already been used up. It leaves a capping, and so that means thunderstorms are less likely to fire later on in the evening in this area, and even when they do, they may struggle. Thunderstorms could still struggle. Even if you have 4,000 CAPE, but storms rolled over that same area 2 hours prior, then, that cool pool can still help things struggle. Let's see here. So my take on things here is the setup is falling apart. We could still see damaging winds, but I don't think we're going to see as bad of a risk as what was originally thought. Now, in my opinion, if I were chasing today, one of the people I follow on Twitter also chose this. I'd be going for Northeast Iowa. Skip Western Iowa, skip Eastern Nebraska. That stuff's becoming a hot mess. Go for the potential of semi-discrete supercells here in Central and Eastern Iowa. They recently upgraded this area to a slight risk at the 4 o'clock update. So that's probably what I would go for. I would probably go for one of these two updrafts near Mason City, Iowa, as they're likely going to stay more discreet. There is still the chance for a slightly messier mode with these, just because we could have a lot of extra rain showers impede with it. You could see some rain showers out here, rain showers up here near La Crosse, and some of those might help impede with the overall discreteness of these storms, but still, a semi-discrete to maybe a bit clustered mode is possible out here. The biggest issue with this stuff is the lower level wind shear. Like, even if it is a little bit more of a clustered mode, we could still see a spin up tornado, but the big issue is there's not a lot of lower level wind shear. So I think this will hold it from being like, a crazy tornado threat. I think we could see a spin up tornado, but anything more than that is likely just, too out of the realm of possibilities. But I do want to check that lower level wind shear real quick. Who knows? Maybe it's overperforming. Nope. Yeah, there's only 50 0 to 1 kilometer SRH out here. But yeah, I mean, I would probably target that storm. This storm right here looks pretty semi-discreet to me. Things can go a bit more clustered here in an hour or two, but right now I think I would really like to target that cell over any cell out here in Nebraska or Western Iowa. So we'll see. We'll see how our event plays out here in Nebraska. Again, the ceiling today is what you see in the title. 90-mile-an-hour winds, 3-inch hail, a couple tornadoes, possibly even a strong tornado. That's the ceiling today. That's like as high as our event can get. The more likely case scenario is kind of what this tornado watch was issued for. Their MCD for the tornado watch, saying 75 to 80 mile an hour winds likely, 2-inch hail possible, and a tornado or two possible. That's the more likely scenario. I don't know why Northwest Missouri has a bunch of instability. That's just something Missouri decided to do today. So if you're in the risk area today, if you're in that enhanced risk or slight risk area today, specifically talking about the enhanced risk, it looks like things are starting to kind of underperform. We're having some issues with the atmosphere, but it's still going to be a pretty impactful day. Very heavy rain, flash flooding, 60 to 70 mile an hour winds, a tornado, and 2-inch hail are all likely across the enhanced risk area into portions of the slight risk area as well. Just the messier storm mode is really, really good. This messy storm mode will allow for a lot less of a tornado threat. Let me kind of show you. This should show you. This can show you really how we've trended today. So this was the... let's see. I want to get like the model run I saw this morning. Or this afternoon. Alright, so this is the 16... Ooh, let's close that out. The SPC site went down over there, scared me. This is the 16ZH-RRR. Not that long ago. That's probably about 4 hours ago or so that started to render in. Let's go over here. So this was the original expectation. Supercells fire off in northeastern Nebraska about 5 o'clock Eastern time. 6 minutes. Not going to happen. They begin to traverse over a pretty favorable environment, potentially producing a few tornadoes, possibly even a strong tornado or two. Large hail up to 3 inch in diameter, damaging winds of 70 to 80 miles per hour would be possible with those storms towards 8 o'clock. Things grow upscale behind those storms. We have some prefrontal storms still producing the potential for tornadoes, large hail. We start to see our intense MCS fire up with 80 to 90 mile an hour winds being a possibility, and still 3 inch hail embedded inside of those storms. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, that MCS moves through the enhanced risk area, begins to weaken as it exits the enhanced risk area into western Iowa. And then by the time we get to 1, 2 a.m., our event is over. Which this would be, this would be a much more impactful event. That's kind of what I based my title off of, is, the SPC's wording mixed with what models were saying too. And now, ever since the newest HRRR here, we're getting another one. This is a vastly different scenario. Storms fire at 6:30 Eastern time. Very clustered, very messy. Could still get a brief tornado, some large hail of 2, maybe pushing 3 inch in diameter, 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. But watch this. Boom. Messy. Within an hour of firing, everything clustered, linear, slop. 8 o'clock, peak environment right here. And look at this peak environment. Storms, because they fired so sloppy, the original storms towards 6 o'clock, 6:30 Eastern that fired, take up the environment for the storms towards 8 o'clock. And then you just end up with a big mess. And look at that, 9, 10 o'clock, your event is done. So that is kind of how we've trended. We've trended away from a very impactful day. Could have been a very long duration event from 4 o'clock all the way till like 2 a.m. Eastern time from central Nebraska to central Iowa. And we've trended to more of a focused area of localized. I combined two words. A focused area of localized severe storms in eastern Nebraska, maybe pushing into western Iowa as we go into the late evening hours, early night hours, and a very, very messy mode. A very, very messy mode. So, yeah, and that's the big reason for that is that cool pool. That cool pool that that's been left because of your thunderstorms earlier this afternoon. And this is the newest HRRR rendering in right now. We'll see how this ends up trending. But look at that environment. I mean, it's a really good environment. If we just had a better storm mode today, which that was the thinking. We were thinking a really good environment mixed with a semi-discrete storm mode, and that's why the SPC's wording earlier this afternoon was very aggressive, and they haven't really backed off on that wording just yet, even with the guidance backing off with how intense these storms may be today. The newest HRRR completely gets rid of eastern Iowa's severe threat, which I find interesting. Completely gets rid of that threat in eastern Iowa, which is really weird. Will I get anything today? Let's go check. Nope. Doesn't look like it. I think this will stay off to your north. You're likely going to be fine. Also keeping an eye out in Illinois. This is the area I'm also watching for severe storms. Bit of a surprise risk for severe weather and flash flooding later on today into tonight. But like I said, newest HRRR definitely backed off on what minimal tornado potential we had out here. My goodness, why do I have so many tabs open? I'm telling you. Let me get these all back organized together. Get closing them before my computer explodes. Okay, there we go. Let's see. We've got a special weather statement out here in north central North Carolina for Roxborough down through Chapel Hill, Durham, Hillsborough. Under that, there's a line of strong thunderstorms approaching from the west, pushing eastward. Frequent lightning, very heavy rainfall, some very small hail up to 1/2 inch in diameter, and could get a few wind gusts of 30 to 40 mile per hour winds. Probably not going to see gusts exceed 40 miles per hour unless these storms really start to intensify. Colorado's still continuing with the isolated severe storm, mainly strong storms. And then we have a very messy cluster in southwest Kansas right now, capable of very frequent lightning, very heavy rain, inch in diameter hailstones, and then still 60-mile-an-hour winds will be possible with that as well. So another thing that is really good is these storms firing. You may be thinking, oh, those are, those could be big issues because they're a bit more of like prefrontal storms. But actually, they're firing in a very favorable air mass. It's actually so favorable that we're not going to see one or two storms. We're going to see a bunch of storms explode from this. And what that should allow for is more over convection. So that's another thing we're seeing today. We're having multiple rounds. Earlier this morning we had our first round come through, which is now way off up here. And then we had our second round into the late afternoon hours back here. And then we have a third round down in here. So just this environment is continuing to see more and more weak thunderstorms. And unfortunately, this is getting a little bit on the strong to severe side now. But a lot of these are just taking up the environment for what is supposed to be a much more well-organized line of severe storms later on tonight. So these storms weren't forecasted, by the way. This was not supposed to be here. None of this was in the forecast this morning. None of this was supposed to be here. So we were supposed to just have this whole air mass fully untapped, rapidly destabilizing throughout the whole day. And then once the front pushes through towards 7, 8 o'clock Eastern time, that explodes thunderstorms into a big line of significant damaging winds. But again, we've trended further, and we keep trending further and further away from that. How's Sioux City looking today? Let's see here. So you're in the tornado watch. I think you're looking pretty good. Very heavy rainfall, lightning, going to be the biggest issues, but you are under the enhanced risk for severe weather. So you're actually under the greatest risk for all significant hazards today. But like I said, it's probably been raining much of the afternoon out there, and that just continues to take up the environment. So we keep seeing these storms train over our main risk area, and every storm that trains over is continuing to take up that environment. So one storm comes over, takes up some CAPE, which is what storms use to thrive and intensify, and we've just seen a bunch of them, like literally 10 plus thunderstorms move over this general area in the last 3 to 5 hours, and it continues to take up the environment. So even though you're under the greatest risk for severe storms today, I think you're going to be all right. I really don't think you'll see much. I think mainly very heavy rainfall, localized flash flooding. Could still get a gust of 60 miles per hour. I wouldn't rule that out, but honestly, I just don't see a way this forecast verifies. Like the forecast of a couple tornadoes, possibly one strong, damaging winds of 80 to 90 miles per hour, and large hail up to 3 inch in diameter. I don't see how we see those hazards anymore. We're still going to get severe weather. Don't forget about that. We're still going to get some severe storms. We're still going to get 60, 70 mile an hour winds, 1 to 2 inch in diameter hail. But I don't think it will be as impactful as what it was looking like this morning. Oh, and then I saw people talking about tomorrow as well. Let's do an update on tomorrow's risks. So we've got a very large slight risk for severe weather across portions of the central and northern U.S. We do have a very large 2% chance for tornadoes. I think this could be upgraded to a 5%. When confidence increases, probably in the morning hours, we'll see this upgraded to a 5%. My best guess on where is... Go look at some stuff. I haven't looked at a few things here. Give me just one more moment. I want to check one last thing, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it. Okay, my best guess for a risk upgrade is probably like right in here for tornadoes. Like right in this area, I think we have a chance for a 5% tornado risk. But it doesn't look like anything too crazy. You know, I think we could see a few spin up tornadoes tomorrow, but the main risk will definitely be damaging winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour. And then we could see some hailstones of about an inch to an inch and a half in diameter for tomorrow. But overall, I don't think we'll see an enhanced risk tomorrow, but I do think we could see a upgrade for the tornado probabilities from 2% to 5%. And then going into day 3, um, hold on a second. I just realized today's Thursday. You know why I kind of forgot about what day it is this was a day 4 risk. If you remember, there was a day 4 risk a couple days ago in like this area right here. How did that turn to an enhanced risk for Iowa? I was just thinking about that. Because that was a day 4 risk for Montana down through western Nebraska, northern North Dakota. Because I remember we were talking about that being a good tornado threat. How did that shift from Montana and North Dakota to Iowa? And then day two was supposed to be like, I think we were talking about central Minnesota into western Wisconsin. And that just fully shifted down to northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. So that just kind of set in. I'm like, wait a second, today's Thursday. We're supposed to be tracking North Dakota, South Dakota, but nope, we shifted all the way down south. And then day 3, which is Saturday. Yep, Saturday. I'm losing track of my days, y'all. I don't see anything crazy with this. It looks like a good amount of cape, but pretty much no wind shear. So I'm thinking 60 mile an hour winds, a half-inch hail, and possibly a spin-up tornado. But I don't think we'll see anything too crazy. Right now, very low confidence in severe storms being significant. There is high confidence in the chance for 60 mile an hour winds, but anything of 70 plus mile an hour winds, which is significant, 70 plus mile an hour winds or 1.75 inch hail plus, that is a significant storm. Anything even close to that, 70 plus mile an hour winds or 1.75 plus inch hail, confidence on that is very low. But we will likely end up with a couple severe storms of 60 mile an hour winds out here. But it doesn't look like anything too crazy. You know, just be weather aware if you're in that slight risk area. Will it expand into western Ohio? I do think it could go a little bit more into western Ohio. Yeah, I could see it expanding slightly down more to the southeast. It wouldn't surprise me, maybe even a bit more than that. But it also wouldn't surprise me if they don't even change this outlook over the next few days, because right now doesn't look like much potential. We did just get a Tor possible severe and observed 1.75 inch hail out here in north central Illinois. So this is that conditional tornado threat coming through in north central Illinois. A bit of a better chance back out in Iowa, but it looks like these thunderstorms have struggled thus far, which is really strange, honestly. I thought they were going to be able to really get going here. I want to go check on that. Why aren't you guys strengthening? Why are these thunderstorms not strengthening? Let's see. What is the issue? Whenever I see storms like this, the first thing I think of is lower level lapse rates. And yep, 6 Celsius lower level lapse rates. So that's allowing for these storms to slowly intensify, if not barely even intensify. So that might end up completely destroying this risk for severe weather out here. Hello? Hold on a second. Where is that? Hold on, I feel like I know where this is. That's down here. Yeah, okay. Why was that not tornado warned? Hold on. We are going to have to go to GR2 to see if this had any type of signature with it. All right, let's go back over to here. I want to see if this had any signature with it. Yeah, no CC drop, so that's good. But that definitely definitely was rotating. You can see a good outflow boundary right here. You have a good outflow boundary just like that. Good supercell structure. Really good supercell structure. Large supercell. And you can even see a clear hook echo and inflow notch right there. So that was for sure rotating. I would not be shocked if that dropped a tornado. That would not surprise me one bit. So we're going to keep watching that. If you are, let's see, this is north of Savannah, Georgia. This is in south, what is this? Do you consider this like far southwest South Carolina? I'm not too sure. But just, I would be in my safe spot if you're out here. So there is Hilton Head Island. That's Savannah, Georgia. Hilton Head Island is in South Carolina. Bluffton, South Carolina. And our area of rotation is right out here. It looks like it's in a very rural area at the moment. But it would not surprise me if this dropped or could still even drop a unwarned tornado at any moment. I'm quite surprised that didn't get a tornado warning on it. Because that's been rotating for a couple of scans here. It's been rotating for the last about 11 minutes or so. And that's pretty good rotation. This isn't weak. This is about 90 mile-an-hour rotation, so that is very, very much capable of producing a tornado. That's not considered weak rotation. It's not very strong, but it's not weak. Definitely was enough to produce a tornado, but nothing picked up on radar, so there was no notable debris signature, so that means no, nothing large was lofted into the atmosphere or anything like that, but we could have had a spin-up tornado. The other day, we had a spin-up tornado in Minnesota, and radar didn't even have rotation with it, so there was very minimal rotation. We had an EF0, and the National Weather Service tornado warned it. It was tornado warned. It had barely any rotation, and it was tornado warned, and it ended up producing an EF0. So you don't need this, you don't need this crazy couplet of 150 mile-an-hour winds to get a tornado to drop. It could be something as little as this, where you have, now, it is definitely weakened. This is about 50 mile-an-hour rotation. That is definitely still capable of producing a tornado. Now, that newest frame just came in here 2 minutes ago, and you could see a bit more of a split here. See how there's some weaker winds in between the red and green? So your green stops like right here, and your red stops like right here. So that means it's not very gate to gate anymore. Right here, it was very gate to gate. You have the red and then the blue, which is outbound and inbound winds, right literally next to each other. Oh, and it's right back at gate to gate again. Yeah, that's right back up to 80 mile-an-hour rotation. So I would be in my safe spot. We very easily could have had a unwarned tornado, if not possibly even another one trying to touch down here, just to the north of Savannah, Georgia. So this is in southwest, just southwest of Bluffton in South Carolina. It is almost considered strong rotation. It's at about 90 mile-an-hour velocities right now. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So now this is tornado warning. So there is your tornado warning in southwest South Carolina. So that is for 2,686 people. That's a lot more people than I was thinking. It doesn't look that populated on satellite. Oh, okay. Well, I'm starting to see more population here for sure. I see more now. So there is your new tornado warning. Otherwise, still ain't got it right now. There you go. So new tornado warning in place there. I do want to check something real quick. So if I just pull this over here. I can't pull it over there because you guys can see that screen too. Let's switch here. There we go. How about that? How about that? Now this is on the ground. Yeah, that's likely a tornado on the ground. And this could be its second tornado. I wouldn't be shocked if it produced an unwarned tornado and is now producing a warned tornado. We could just check with the probability of debris. Probability of debris is 95%. So there is a 95% chance that that is a tornado on the ground. And we can confirm this from spectrum width. You can see a spectrum width increase right here. I don't know if this is going to have a ZDR decrease with it. And you can see a little ZDR decrease. Yeah, you could see a little ZDR decrease right in here. And then you could see your area of rotation very present. So that is likely a tornado on the ground. That's likely a tornado on the ground. Well, that was a bit late. I get tornado warning issued. It's been issued for the last couple minutes now. So we're going to continue to watch that very closely. We're going to just stay with this right now. Hold on. Apparently there's 80 mile an hour winds. I want to bring back weather-wise. That beep you heard was weather-wise very delayed. 80 mile an hour winds apparently out here in Kansas. You said Kansas, but I see 60. That'd be crazy if that storm is producing 80. Alright, hold on. I'm going to open the Radar Omega for the first time in this stream real quick. Alright, yep, there's a report. Garden City, Mesonet has reported, or rather, measured 83 mile an hour wind gusts there at 5:03 Eastern. So that is observed 80 plus mile an hour winds from a Mesonet in Garden City, southwest Kansas. So there you go. We have already gotten an 80 plus mile an hour wind gust so far away from the enhanced risk from severe weather. So far away. Still could be a tornado on the ground right here. You can see it is moved, so it's occluded up to the northwest. It is still possibly on the ground. Southwest of Limehouse in southwest South Carolina. This kind of reminds me of like a tropical tornado almost. Just kind of the way how it spins up like that. Kind of reminds me of like a tropical tornado. For some reason, this gives me a tropical tornado type vibe. Very, very interesting interaction with cell mergers here. Oh, yep. Boundaries. That will do it for you. Oh, welcome to the stream, by the way, Chip. Sorry, I missed you. So, tornado is likely still ongoing. Could be lifting, though. I want to go back over to here. Ooh, oh, wait, that was a new scan. Okay, yeah, that is likely lifted. So this storm could have produced 1 or 2 tornadoes. If it did produce an unwarned tornado, it would have been around this scan. The problem with this scan is the rotation looks to be in the inflow notch, like right up in the clear slot portion of the inflow notch. But I feel like that could just be a bit of bad data, because we're scanning with this scan. We were scanning right through the northern side of our storm, so I'm not too sure about that. But if we did have an unwarned tornado, it would have been at 2101Z, and then we likely had a tornado right here touch down. Pretty good CC drop. pretty obvious CC drop there, 2114Z, which was just a couple minutes ago. About 6 minutes ago. And now it is fully dissipated. So probability of that being a tornado was 95% according to radar. That dark red pixel right there my cursor's on is a 95% chance of a tornado. And you can see that's exactly where our CC drop was. We'll have to watch for this to try to rotate again. Keep an eye out just in this general area around Savannah, Georgia, back into just to the west of Hilton Head Island in southwest South Carolina. We'll just need to watch this because it has a very large amount of inflow here. A very good cutoff. And that could allow for some southerly winds to try to ramp up an area of rotation. Might try to ramp up back out here near Garden City, Georgia, or possibly near the same spot, just well west off of Hilton Head Island in southwest South Carolina. So we'll just keep an eye on this. Shouldn't be the best environment out here if I take a look really quick. You know, if we were in like central Nebraska's type environment, then this would be a big issue. But yeah, there's actually a pretty good environment here. How much 0 to 1 kilometer SRH, though? That's the question. That's the big question. There's 100, so definitely could produce another tornado. It could definitely try to produce another tornado. All right, I do want to go back all the way over to Kansas. So, interesting here is the National Weather Service out here in Dodge City, Kansas. We got a observed mesonet recording 83 mile-an-hour winds, and it's still warned for 60. So, you know, typically when you get an 83 mile-an-hour observed wind gust, that's gonna warrant an upgrade for any severe. So, pretty strange on why that hasn't been upgraded yet. Very strange. See if Iowa... No, these storms, it did return. Look, it's returned back up to some lightning, so we're going to keep an eye on that near Alexandria in north central Iowa, south of Mason City, for a threat of all hazards as it moves off to the southeast. But you can see that overconvection is going to become an issue later on. And then out here, Franklin Grove, Illinois, observed 2-inch hail with this storm. Keep an eye on that one as well. A lot more severe storms starting to pop off now. A lot more severe storms. Curious, how many are we up to? So when I started the stream, we were at like 1 or 2. Now we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're at 13. At 13 severes. Still a tornado warning in effect. It never went observed, so they never observed this tornado warning. What that means is we didn't have a confirmed tornado. We had a likely tornado on the ground with that, you know, pretty good CC drop, but the National Weather Service never officially confirmed it's a tornado. They'll likely go out and survey that area, and I imagine they're going to end up finding damage based on that CC drop. Hold on, we just got a update to the warning. It is still radar indicated. So if you don't know what a radar indicated tornado warning means, what it means is a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. So you need to be seeking shelter immediately. Still very underwhelming event out there in Nebraska. It went from looking like one of the best events ever since mid-June to a horrible event. Like literally that storm mode is just, it's crazy how much storm mode plays a role in severe weather. Like literally just a morning convection can completely demolish an entire tornado outbreak potential. Or thunderstorms firing an hour or two early can completely ruin an event by taking up the atmosphere before it's fully primed. Or, too many storms firing can make things clustered and then you end up with a messy mode. So that's probably the number one underperformance factor. I think second would probably be lapse rates. Lapse rates and overconvection seem to be the two things that really, really can underperform events substantially. Yeah, the NAM's wrong, Justin. It's initiating wrong. You have to be very careful. Always check how the model initiates. So the NAM 3K initiated with a kind of crazy 4,000 instability in northeastern Nebraska. And we are currently at, let me get you a quick number. This was as of about 10 minutes ago. You know what? I'll take the L on this one. The NAM 3K is actually correct at the moment. We have 4,000 CAPE in northeastern Nebraska. I'll take the L on that one. That's interesting. How is that destabilizing with so much overconvection? How did that go from 2,000 to 4,000 in 1 hour? That's interesting. And the weird thing is, hold on, I gotta go look at that. Give me weatherize again. So that's like literally, that is like right up in here. Which this area has been getting so much over convection. We'll need to keep an eye on that because that's very interesting. That's something that the HRRR did not have at all. The HRRR has about 500 CAPE or so up there, 500 to 1,000 CAPE. And the NAM 3K is currently correct. We'll see. I don't think it would be as intense as what the NAM 3K is predicting, but very interesting on how the NAM 3K is definitely more correct than the HRRR with that. So if the NAM is right, now here's the thing: the NAM 3K has at least 2 to 3 supercells that have exploded in this area at 5 o'clock Eastern. It's currently almost 5:30 Eastern, so the NAM initiated too early. So there's one problem on the NAM right off the bat. But a little bit more intrigued on how it got the instability correct. Also, another thing is the NAM 3K literally doesn't have any convection out here. It has no convection in this entire area in here. And as you can see, there's definitely convection there. All right, I want to go back to Georgia/South Carolina again. So, is that clearing out, perhaps? I'd still be watching down here near Garden City, Georgia, and also up here near Limehouse, South Carolina. Keep an eye on both of those. One of those areas rotation is Tornado 1 because it previously produced a tornado, or possibly previously produced a tornado. The other one in Garden City, it's not strong enough to warrant a tornado warning at the moment. But if we can get a little bit better inflow, like maybe this rain starts to clear out some, then this could easily start to get a little bit more rotation to it. Legacy, thank you for being an EF1 member for 23 months. That is insane. That is absolutely crazy. 23 months. just 1 month away from being a member for 2 whole years. Jeez. That is crazy. TRG has made $48 from memberships because of Legacy. Legacy, I appreciate the 1 Chick-fil-A sandwich and the half tank of gas. Thank you. After taxes and everything, Legacy knows because she runs her own channel. So she knows how big of a cut YouTube takes, and then wherever you get your money from, whether it be PayPal or your bank or whatever it may be, they take cuts too. So $48 turns more into what, maybe 30? Maybe 30, might even be a little less than that. It just depends on what you use. But I'm not in it for the money by any means, definitely not. But yeah, Legacy, again, thank you for being a member for 23 whole months. Thank you for helping me keep count of my memberships existing. Because you got a membership like pretty much the day my overlay's broken. I just realized that. How long has that been broken? Pretty much like the day I got memberships and made them, you bought one. So that's crazy though. It feels like I made memberships yesterday. Like I can remember making the logo. I was on my other laptop. I didn't make memberships on this computer. I made them on a mobile laptop at somebody else's house. So that's wild. I can't believe it's been that long. I gotta sneeze. I said I gotta sneeze because that always gets the sneeze away. So now I don't gotta sneeze. I mean, yeah, it sucks that they take such a big cut, but like I said, I'm not in it for the money anyways, so although it would be nice to not have such a big cut taken, because then we can give more relief. I almost went down to Central North Carolina the other day to help with relief out there for flash flooding, because that was local. I know that area very well. I almost did it. I really should have done it. But that's the ultimate goal, is to keep doing this and then save up as much money from this to eventually get a bigger, better setup and then help as many people as possible. Which the benefit of it is just streaming these events helps people, and then the donations and the memberships and the ad revenue that goes into also helping people. So it's a win-win. I help people by being here, and then I help people with the money I make. 2 wins. Let me go over to Mesoanalysis. So, number one thing to watch over the next hour, keep an eye in this area. You know, I just realized. Let's see. I think it's actually this area. You know, we can figure this out very quickly if we take Radar Omega, HRRR, Reflectivity. Actually, we're going to do the NAM. Yeah. So it's this area we're keeping an eye on for initiation in the next 2 hours. On the northwest side of that tornado watch, right up in here. But even then, that's not... Your best environment is right in here. So if storms fire there, move southeast, they are going to go into that best environment. So that's going to be the number one thing to keep it on. If storms fire here, then we could still have a big day with winds upwards of 80 to 90 miles per hour. We already saw an 83-mile-an-hour wind gust out there in southwest Kansas. However, that's in Kansas. That ain't in the enhanced risk. The enhanced risk is up here in northeast Nebraska, southeast South Dakota, into western Iowa. Dark blue, Tora watches, looks good. And I like purple. I like the customization I have right now. No point in changing it. I know sometimes it could be confusing because I know a lot of people use yellow for tornado watches and pink for severe watches. But I like it this way. Because if I use yellow for any type of watch, that blends in way too well with my severe warnings. And if I use red for tornado watches, or severe watches, then that blends in with tornado warnings. So it just works better this way because I have no severe weather watches or warnings overlap with these two colors. You know, the severe watch and the tornado watch both overlap accordingly. The only other thing that I have pink, I think, is winter weather warnings. Winter storm warnings. There you go. Winter storm warnings, I think, are pink, and I don't think I have anything else other than a tornado watch that's purple. And, yeah, a severe watch and a winter storm warning in the same exact area, very, very rare to see in the middle of July. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. I don't think that would be an issue. Watch, I could put dark blue on. Let's see. I'll do it just for Caleb. Let's see. I want to save this color though. Hold on, I'm going to go save this color really quick. I know how to do it. I'm going to go to this website. Because I don't want to end up guessing what color purple I use. Give me a brief moment. Okay. No, it does not. Oh my word, it does not look better. Caleb, are you colorblind? Serious question. I'm not trying to be rude. Serious question. Are you colorblind? Because if you're colorblind, that's like the only way I see that being good. No, I'm gonna save chat's eyes by not showing them that. Not that I know of. I think you're insane then. I think you're just insane. Blue tornado watches. The only thing I would use blue for is like a winter storm watch and tropical storm warnings. Blue for a tornado watch is crazy. I have a friend who's colorblind, and he uses all types of colors, different colors for watches and warnings, but he's colorblind. So even though it looks like insane to me, it's all completely normal for him. I'll have to ask him what colors his watches and warnings are, but they're like all screwed up. I think like either his severe warning or tornado warning is like green. But because he's colorblind, it comes out to, red or yellow. I forgot which one. I have to ask him. Tornado watches should always be red. If I turn it to red, you ain't going to be able to see the tornado warnings. If I turn the severe thunderstorm watch to yellow, you ain't going to be able to see the severe thunderstorm warnings. White hurricane warnings? Not horrible. But hurricane warnings I have are, I think they're red, I want to say. Let's see, do we still have that tornado warning in effect out here? Still do for 20 more minutes. Nah, I want to keep the borders. I have it on like 1, so they're not very obvious borders, but I'd like to keep the borders on. Caleb, I'll customize mine how I want to customize it. How about that? You keep your tornado watches blue and your severe thunderstorm watches freaking green, and I'll keep mine normal, ordinary colors. I'll keep my normal colors. No wonder why you want me to customize your weather wise. I bet you have pink tornado warnings and red severes too. Let's see what that warning's for. 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds north of Grand Island in central Nebraska. I can't stand red severes. The weird thing is, I'm pretty sure most National Weather Services use red severes. So, like, I'll make fun of everybody who uses red severes, but I'm pretty sure the National Weather Service does too. I'm pretty sure they use red severes. I've seen many offices tweet with red severes. I'm like, what? I'm under a tornado? Oh, never mind. It's a severe. The worst is when you're doing a loop of like a big severe weather outbreak and it's all red polygons and then it just looks like the half the country got covered by tornado warnings, but it's actually severes. I saw somebody do a full loop of a severe weather outbreak in the central US and their warnings were red for severes. It's just, it confuses me. It confuses me. I think my extreme wind warnings are like full white. I'll have to do some customizing once we go into hurricane season and once we get our first big hurricane. I'll have to do some customizing to work out what colors work well. See, like gray severe watches. Now, I'm not against that. It's not something I would use for on live streams, but like, you know, if you're a weather enthusiast, you don't share your radars much. Gray is actually really cool. But I like to try to keep things as simple as possible. Like, you know, pink severe watches, that's going to be very obvious. Purple tornado watches, that's very obvious. You could easily see them and understand them. But I know a few people who have like gray tornado warnings, or rather gray tornado watches, and it doesn't look bad. I'm not against it. Yeah, extreme wind warnings are exclusive for major hurricanes. You can only, in no other instance, you can only see extreme wind warnings for major hurricanes. There's nothing else. If you've got a severe for 120-mile-an-hour winds, it's not going to be like upgraded to an extreme wind warning. It's specifically for major hurricanes. Keep a little eye on this notching that is started here. You could see a little embedded hook echo trying to spin back up out here. This is in just to the northeast of Garden City in Georgia. So we're just gonna keep an eye on that. See if it tries to spin up again. If it does spin up, it's gonna be in the next 10 minutes. Because it's starting to turn into a big blob. It's starting to turn into a line. It looks like it's turning into a line like that. And then this is an embedded supercell right here. That's what it looks like to me. Hopefully none of my friends are watching this stream. I'm gonna have like 50 billion Discord DMs after this stream fussing about the way I customize my warnings. Good thing about Ben and Caleb is they don't fuss at me in Discord because they don't have Discord. Lucky's are I'm pretty sure Lucky's are default. I think he has his in pretty much normal. Like what I have mine on. He has oh, it's his color table. His color table is the default color table on GR2, and I can't. I don't like the default GR2 color table. I'm like, Lucky, why don't you have a custom color table? I have to have custom color tables. What's up, Lucy? Welcome to the stream. Anything for me tomorrow, Saturday? Let's see. Good question. I like how the NAM just shows a derecho tomorrow, and I haven't seen any posts on Twitter about it. Like, I just got jaw dropped right there, starstruck, because it shows the derecho from like freaking Milwaukee, Wisconsin to Kansas City, Missouri, like literally a line this big, and I haven't seen any posts on Twitter about it. I'm a little disappointed in Twitter. I don't see much tomorrow. I think you could see some rain, but that's about it. I think there's a good chance for rain tomorrow night and Saturday morning. But anything like severe or anything like that, I don't see that. I gotta show you all this run. Now, this is not gonna happen, but I gotta show you this run. Like I said, I'm disappointed in Twitter for not showing this. Watch this. Look at this. Look at this thing. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Line, huge line happening there. 8, 9, 10, literally from Milwaukee all the way down to Kansas City. And then it breaks up and it keeps going south, southwest. Thing doesn't fully die out until south of Tulsa. Like, look at that. That's crazy. Dude. Like I said, I'm disappointed in Twitter for not talking about that. I don't think that will happen tomorrow, but I do think we're gonna see severe weather. You can see that low pressure right here. So I think we're gonna see a lot of severe storms in this area. The one thing I'm questioning is overconvection. I think if tomorrow doesn't have a lot of overconvection, it could be big for all hazards, especially winds. But if it does have overconvection, then it's going to be like a mid-tier event where we could see a spin-up tornado or two, 60 to 70 mile an hour winds, and 1.5 inch hail. But if we don't see that overconvection, then I think tomorrow could be a little bit bigger than what models are currently depicting. So keep an eye on tomorrow for some last-minute uptrends. I don't see those uptrends likely to happen, but I wouldn't rule it out. Wow. This event is wild, y'all. Our only really good looking cell is out here in far northeastern Nebraska. Like, the cams are not handling this event well at all. Go back over to Illinois. Keep an eye on that little area of green and red. Could see some rotation spin up there. What about back down there into Georgia? Yeah, this is likely not going to be able to try to produce again. It's 10 minutes or up. I don't think it's been 10 minutes, but it's probably done with any tornadic potential. The supercell is becoming embedded inside of the line, so could have seen 1 or 2 tornadoes out of that storm a couple minutes ago. We'll see what the survey crews find. I imagine they're going to go survey that area. But overall, not anything too crazy happening right now. I think we have like one significant, maybe two significant severes, and I feel like both of those are in Illinois. Let's go check. We have one in Illinois and one in New Mexico, actually. So we have this one here for 1.75 observed inch hail. And then we have one up here for, hello, New Mexico. Where, that is, apparently that's the one that's significant, but, oh, it just got downgraded. Look at that. So it's downgraded. Never mind. Down to one significant severe. I was like, what? Is my program glitching on me? Nope. It just got downgraded right when I started looking at it. Yeah, we were live for that, Cody. We saw that CC drop. It had a 95% chance of being a tornado. That's what radar said. So not guaranteed that it was a tornado, but there's a good chance it was. Yeah, the environment in central, east central Nebraska right now is crazy. But there's just no good storm to take advantage of it. That southern storm might be able to take some advantage of the environment, but I really don't think it's going to do too much. I have to see what the new HRRR shows here in the next 10 minutes. This event is not playing out how I thought it would. Just to reiterate that for the millionth time. Alright. Well, now we wait. Might have white outlines because it looks good. I have black on Radar Omega, but I have white on Weatherwise. The white just sticks out more. It highlights it more. For some reason, the black on Radar Omega and the black on Weatherwise are different. Like, the black seem to blend in too well and not be as obvious as the white. Any non-rotating tornado warnings? Nope. Only tornado warning we had today was out there in southwestern South Carolina, and it potentially dropped a tornado. Now, yesterday, we had a couple of those, and the day before that, too. We had a few warnings up in Pennsylvania, I think one or two West Virginia, and then some in Maryland, and much of them weren't rotating. I do remember one rotating in Maryland. But a lot of the tornado warnings over the last, 5 days have barely even had rotation with them. Aside from some in central North Carolina and some in western Minnesota, southeastern North Dakota. Like, we had a couple tornado warnings up here with good rotation, and then, of course, the one I chased in this area that had rotation dropped 3 tornadoes. Pretty sure they confirmed 3 or 4 tornadoes in central NC. We went from a very well below average season to near average now, just because of one storm. Yeah, four tornadoes confirmed. Me and Lucky, we were very close to an unwarned one. There was an unwarned tornado out here that me and Lucky almost, we were very, very close to. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out where it was. So there's Hillsboro, so we were somewhere back out in here. And there was an unwarned tornado, like right in. I gotta find the exact area. I think it was down in here. So pretty close call for an unwarned tornado. You know, not horribly close, but definitely the closest unwarned tornado I've been to. That is for sure. And then me and Lucky were right here going north, and there was a tornado. Let's see, where was that confirmed at? Yeah, right in here. So we got close to 2 different tornadoes in one day. And then we got an absurd amount of flooding. Like, literally, there were cars almost fully underwater. And then a few houses had water, like, halfway up. And then if a lot of homes back out in Chapel Hill had water up to almost their roofs. Same in Durham, too. Definitely the worst flash flooding event I have ever chased. It's rotating again. Where? This will have a new scan in 2 seconds, so I'll just see. That? I mean, it's 40-mile-an-hour rotation. It's weak, but it might be rotating a little bit. But that's very weak rotation. Still probably worth keeping an eye on, though. But it's not in the best spot for a tornado. If there was to be a tornado threat, with this storm, I would think it would be in that general area. So I think that area of weak rotation is legit. I do think there is some very broad rotation there, but just the way this storm's starting to head and how it's looking, I don't see it having the same potential it once did. But yeah, it is very weak rotation. Let's see the new HRRR. Not supposed to look at the HRRR this often day of, but guess what? You ain't gonna stop me. I'm gonna forever do it. I'm gonna forever do it. Looks like this is gonna probably become the main threat in Iowa into Illinois. So just 60-mile-an-hour winds and 2-inch hail will be an issue. But to be honest with you, I'm a little bit more worried about the flooding. Like, we've had some wild flash flooding events over the last 2 weeks. And I'm a little concerned for some flash flooding in this area here, because these thunderstorms are going to be relatively slow moving and training over each other. So 60-mile-an-hour winds, 60 to 70-mile-an-hour winds, and up to 2-inch hail and flash flooding will all be possible in this area over the next couple hours. See, that rotation died off, so that's good. I see these velocities, but they're not located in a good area for actual rotation, likely side lobe contamination or hail contamination velocities there. Not worried about it. Now, if it persists for more scans, it might be an issue. Depending on how those scans evolve. This storm up here in Clearwater, a big hailer. 1.75-inch hail, wouldn't be shocked if it is notably larger than that. And we're going to see a couple of those today. We're going to see a couple of big hailers that are just like this. But that tornado threat looks to be lower. I think the main hazard today is probably hail across the board. It looks like hail and wind. Let's see. See if this weakens before it gets to Lucky. Man, Lucky's got like 4 boundaries near him. Let's see. 3, 1, 2. Oh, 2. It's a lot more than 2. I thought it was 4. Never mind. Just 2 boundaries. Got one here and one big one here. Well, can we count that as 2? Because... Come on, Weatherwise. Stop glitching on me. Because we have 1. It looks like there's 1 here, and then it stops. And it starts again. And then another one here. I'm going to count that as 3. Bro needs to go back to school. All right, buddy. You failed math. Like, come on. Although, to be honest with you, if there's any subject that... I wonder what's, like, the most failed subject. I feel like it would be math. But for me, I struggled the most with, history. History was the hardest for me. Alright, yeah, they upgraded that to 2-inch hail. Not a surprise right there. It's up to 2-inch hail falling with this storm. Math is the most failed subject, specifically algebra. Yep. Seems right. That's exactly what I was thinking. I didn't find algebra hard at all. I'm gonna be honest, I found it fun. I loved algebra. I love math and algebra. Geometry is where I start to get a little bit more like, this isn't really my cup of tea. Maybe I'll pass at this a little bit. But I loved algebra. The only, like I said, the only subject I struggled with a little bit was history. But even then, I still, pretty much everything was upper, like, B plus and A's. I still like geometry. It's just I found it a bit more difficult. Wait for calculus. Oh, man. No thanks. But calculus is a huge part of meteorology, so if I do go for a degree, I'm cooked. I'm gonna be doomed. I'll have to give myself a big refresher on that, because I haven't done stuff like that in 3 years, and I can't remember any of it. I think if you brought me any algebra equation, I don't think I would be able to solve any of it. To be honest, I really don't think I would be able to solve any algebra equation. Because I haven't done that stuff in 3 years, and my memory is wiped. From 2020 to 2023, my memory is wiped. What's up, Pez? Sad to see you back in here again. Glad to see you back in here again. Welcome to the stream. I want to go back and check that storm in Georgia. Yeah, see, the rotation just fell right apart. I didn't think it was going to be able to sustain much. My overlay be having some bugs today. Refresh. Spam refresh it. Now it's disappeared. Yeah, the greatest severe threat I'm going to be keeping an eye on here is these 2 storms. Just be away from doors and windows if you're in any of those severe storms. Any severe thunderstorm warning, but there's nothing tornadic that I'm really interested in. I do want to just quickly go back check this one in Illinois. Yep, that was hail contamination, just like I said. Fell apart in a few scans. I think that was all of them, right? That one, that one. What about this one again? I do feel like this could start to rotate. I feel like that's got a possibly a good supercell structure to it. Let's see. I'm trying to check the environment out here. This is... Now, this one's hard to say. It's heading into that cool pool. So I don't think it's going to have... Yeah, it's not going to have a lot of cape. It's not going to have a lot of cape at all, so... I think it's got a good threat for all hazards over the next hour, and then after that, the tornado threat is probably going to be nearly non-existent with it. Yeah, these storms in Colorado, very strange, but this is actually going to be the boundary here. This boundary here, gust front / outflow boundary, that's actually where your highest winds are going to be located. Between your convection and your boundary. That's where you could be seeing 60 mile-an-hour winds. Sam, it's 1,000 instability. I took a sounding on it with mesoanalysis. It's 1,000 to 1,500 instability. And another big issue there is the wind shear. It's on the northern edge of the best wind shear, so it's only in like 50, 0 to 1 kilometer SRH. And another issue, see, there ain't just one, 0 to 3 kilometer lapse rates are less than 6, and 0 to, let me see, lower level lapse rates are like 6. Lower level lapse rates aren't bad. 6.5, you know, that's pretty good. Like I mentioned before, you really 6 to 7 lapse rates is what you want. Anything more than 7, and you could be struggling with elevated storms. So you really don't want anything more than 7 lapse rates. Because, like, we have 7.5 lapse rates in northwest, or rather north central Nebraska, and the temperature dew point spread there is about 14. Caleb, the only way that's possible is from place files, which you can actually do in GR2 analysis. There's a program in that gives you information about the strongest storms, but that stuff has to be hand programmed. There might be a public place file for it, but I don't know where. Oh, hi. Went tornado warned after all. So who's that person talking about tornado warning for no rotation? Because I found that storm. I found the storm you were talking about. There you go. There's your tornado warning with no rotation. Although, looks like no rotation on radar. But I actually want to point out, this is probably rotating enough to produce a tornado towards the surface. We're scanning, what, maybe 2,000 feet? Actually, weather-wise, you can check. So we're scanning about 5,000 feet up. I was definitely well off with that. We're scanning about 5,000 feet up. So the mid and upper level rotation is probably very weak. That's what we're seeing on this radar, which is why it looks like no rotation. But towards the surface, this probably has a full-fledged wall cloud and is likely actively trying to produce a tornado right along the I-80 corridor over and south of Brooklyn in southeastern Iowa. Definitely not a bad storm at all. You can see a really good supercell presentation on reflectivity there, but again, the velocities looking 5,000 feet up into the atmosphere, so that's scanning more of the mid-levels, not closer to the surface where the rotation is probably the strongest. Lapse rates varies from area to area. Depends on where you're referring to. If you're referring to like eastern Nebraska, northeast Nebraska, where the enhanced risk is, you're looking at about 6.5 which in my opinion is pretty good. Like I said, anything from 6 to 7, I think that's good. Less than 6, and I feel like you could struggle with storms intensifying, and then anything more than 7, I feel like storms could be a bit more elevated. Give me a moment, I'm trying to text something. Okay. Hail threat is increased on this too, a 1.5-inch hail, but that hail core is actually getting stronger. So this is this is probably awesome from the surface. Like if someone's on this chasing, this is like, I definitely wouldn't say a dream supercell, but a very good supercell. Like I would be panicking. If I saw that in real life, I would be screaming at the top of my lungs because that has got to be insane towards the surface. Where's Alexandria, Iowa? We had a funnel reported there about 20 minutes ago. Alexandria. I'm not even typing. Alexandria. Nope. Not do more. Spelled like that, maybe? Iowa? I spelled Iowa completely wrong. Ignore that one. Fine, I'll look it up. Jeez. Can't spell today. Okay, so it's just not popping up. Does it just not exist? I guess it just doesn't exist. I guess it just doesn't exist according to this. I'll find it, since these radar programs want to be dumb. It's right up here, dude. It's right up here. Oh! They misspelled it. It's Alexander. Yeah, we talked about that before. It's not Alexandria. So they got the town name mixed up. So this storm had a funnel on it about 20 minutes ago, which was around this frame here. Between these two frames. It's Alexander, not Alexandria. So the chaser spelled the name wrong. Okay. How to read radar properly? What you mean? I got a video on that already. Really want to keep an eye on that, man. I mean, doesn't look good on velocity, but I really wouldn't be shocked if that's about to produce a tornado. Trying to see if there's any chasers on this. That's what I'm doing right now. It goes pretty in depth. What more do you need, Caleb? I go through spectrum width, ZDR, reflectivity, velocity, how to spot corruption. Like that's pretty much all you need to know. Do you want me to go on to how weather radar, it doesn't modify thunderstorms, and weather radar doesn't somehow cause cloud seeding and isn't manipulating the atmosphere? Is that what you mean by more in-depth? How a big dome can't exactly cause flash flooding? I could go into that. They did continue that special weather statement, by the way, into Raleigh, North Carolina for up to 45-mile-an-hour winds. So we'll continue to watch that as it moves off to the southeast. That's going to go into the city of Raleigh here in about 15-20 minutes. So just make sure any loose objects outside are against a wall, brought inside. Try to tie them down the best you can and then get indoors. Probably want to stay away from doors and windows because there's a lot of lightning with these storms, very heavy rain, but the damaging winds probably won't be too crazy. But some of these little velocities here, I mean, could get up to 40-45-mile-an-hour wind gust. Same with this here near Creedmoor. Some of these velocities could be up to 40-mile-an-hour winds. It's not just one person, Caleb. There is hundreds of thousands of them. You don't think there's that many, you think maybe there's just one dummy who thinks flash flooding is created by the US. No, there's actually hundreds and thousands of them. What you mean? There's literally a severe for 2-inch hail in Nebraska. There's another severe for 1-inch hail in Nebraska. There's another severe for 1-inch hail in Nebraska. And there's another 1-inch hail severe in Nebraska. So storms are already underway. Yeah, there are main storms. Yes. We should see more fire along a front back out in here. Those will probably fire maybe at 7, 8 tonight. So, but those will pose the same hazard. Brief tornado, 2-3-inch hail, 70-80-mile-an-hour winds. I really don't think we're going to see more than 80-mile-an-hour winds, but you never know. The National Weather Service was saying 85-mile-an-hour winds possible, 80-mile-an-hour winds likely. Still, really good storm here. Why are they mining lithium in Nevada? Probably for car batteries or something. Glenn Powell just said it, so probably because we need it. Like, why do they cut down trees? Because we need wood. Duh. Yeah. They don't cut down trees to manipulate the weather. They don't cook food to cause thunderstorms. I'm doing great, Proxy. At least in my opinion, I don't think you can use wood to create thunderstorms. That might be controversial nowadays, though, at least from what I've seen on Twitter the last couple of days. You got to be very careful. There's a lot of misinformation out there. Whether you believe the weather is man-made or not, which it's not, just be weather aware. Because it still impacts people. So whether you believe that it's man-made or not, just be weather aware. That's the important thing. They continue this tornado warning for the next 40 minutes for 1.5-inch hail. Cloud seeding, oh my word, people won't shut up about that. Gracious day, Caleb. I've seen it for the last, every single day. I've seen so many tweets about cloud seeding. Yeah, that's right. We take huge jets, cargo jets full of cloud seeding and just dump it all over Texas or North Carolina. It's so stupid. Cloud seeding is used over very little areas. It's used in eastern Colorado to enhance snow when we have in the winter. It is used during prolonged droughts in southwest Texas and southeast New Mexico to help prevent a ridiculous amount of droughts. And even with cloud seeding, we still see droughts. Why? Because we can't form clouds. So if you don't have precipitation and clouds already in southwest Texas where a drought is ongoing, you can't form rain out of thin air. There first needs to be a cloud with precipitation, and then you can enhance that in a localized area for a little bit to produce extra precipitation. You can't pour cloud seeding over the entire country for decades. It's done over very localized areas. And that's what doesn't make sense to me. Even if we do somehow use cloud seeding to create severe thunderstorms, and these crazy weather patterns, do you realize how absurd that is? Do you realize how big the Earth is? Do you really think we cloud seed the globe? Like, I don't think people realize how insane that sounds. It's literally insane. But, you're free to have your opinions. I'm not gonna... In my opinion, you're insane if you believe in that we're cloud seeding to cause tornadoes and severe weather and significant flooding. But you're allowed to have your opinions. And I'll make fun of you for them. Let's see. East Coast. Not seeing too much out there. I mean, there's a lot of heavy rain. There's the isolated severe in New York and Vermont. But it's nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. Worst we're going to see out here in Vermont is 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. So nothing too insane. And the reason why I keep talking about this in our live streams about the cloud seeding and everything is because it's getting so much attention now. Like, for some reason, over the last 2 months, like, people are starting to make 6-digit figures off of this stuff. There's so much misinformation going around. It is insane the amount of reach that this cloud seeding and weather manipulation stuff has reached. It's reached probably hundreds of millions of people, actually hundreds of millions of people. So I don't know why over the last 2 months it has gotten so popular and it's gotten so insane. I think people just need to go touch grass. That is the best way to put it. I think people just need to go touch grass. And they need to realize how stupid they sound. Like, go up to someone in the public and tell them, did you know that the thunderstorm that hit us yesterday was completely cloud seeded by the US government and radar beams shot into the atmosphere and caused severe storms? Did you know about that? They're going to think you're insane. I mean, I just can't believe it's actually real. I can't believe there's actually people that dumb. Oh, and by the way, now there's a what are you even going to call them? Trying to think of the right word for it. It's an organized group of people who break the law. And there's a new, I don't know what that term would be, but that's like a definition of it. And now there's a group that is threatening to destroy radars in Oklahoma because of the radars are manipulating the atmosphere. There's thousands of them, thousands of people who are in this group threatening to destroy radars in Oklahoma. It's insane. But Just open a meteorology textbook for Pete's sake. Like, get yourself. I can't pull it out. I'm gonna pull it out. I'm gonna pull it out. Get yourself one of these right here. Right here. Get you one of these right here. I think this should start becoming a required, like maybe like 10 hours of school. You need to have this to graduate or something. Get you one of these and you will become so much less stupid. Get you one of those on the weather. One of those about weather, and it will teach you all types of stuff. It'll teach you about radar interference, how things form, and how the government isn't involved in causing significant flooding. Oh, another insane thing I was seeing is how these people, their ego is insane. Like they will go after meteorologists too. They'll go right after meteorologists, people who have had like 8 years of direct experience, 8 years of getting their degree in meteorology, and they'll just say, "You're wrong. You're wrong because some random dude on the internet told me that radars manipulate the weather. I know you've been studying this for the last 30 years. You've been interested in it in your whole life, but you're wrong." Let's see. We got a new severe. I have to point this out because it includes over 500,000 people out here in North Carolina. So Raleigh, city of Raleigh in North Carolina, over 500,000 people in a new severe for 60-mile-an-hour winds and penny-sized hail. So be away from doors and windows. Go inside, stay away from doors and windows, and yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just stay away from doors and windows. Can you make me a radar? I wish. I wish I'd be filling in radar holes all over the country. There's a lot of them. Let's see. These are still significant severes. Let's go back to that tornado warning in Iowa. Looks a lot less impressive, so that's good. Man, y'all got me distracted. I think I more of distracted myself. I missed my ending time. I was supposed to be ending right. I'm having too much fun calling out things. I had too much fun. Yeah, death threats to meteorologists too. And yeah, that's just a lot of times those are when people get forecasts wrong. James Spann, I think, is the one who's the most vocal about the death threats towards meteorologists. I see him speak about it very frequently. And I mean, they could get the simplest forecast wrong. People will threaten their lives over it. It's crazy, man. It is crazy. That's why I said you just gotta go touch grass, man. You just gotta go touch grass, get outside, breathe some fresh air, and get yourself a meteorology book. Test has not been received. Legacy. Test has not been received. I'm waiting for somebody in the chat to say you're wrong. Cloud seeding is like causing tornadoes now. I'm waiting for it, but it seems like everybody in this chat is well educated enough. Still tornado warning in effect for 30 more minutes. So if you're in that tornado warning, remember tornado warning, that is radar indicated, means a tornado is imminent or possibly on the ground, so be in your safe spot. If you don't know where your safe spot is, It is the best safe spot is a basement or a storm shelter. If you don't have either one of those, make sure you are in the most interior room of your home, lowest floor possible, away from all doors and windows, preferably with a helmet on or a mattress over your head or both to prevent yourself from being hit by flying debris. All right, Cody, Sam, your band. Totally. The one time I had a debate with somebody, you guys, obviously we did it on a live stream, started debating with somebody about cloud seeding. It was I don't mind civil debates. I'd love to know someone's opinion on why they think radars cause tornadoes. And then he just started insulting me, and it's like, okay, well, we were having a civil, fun debate about why you think cloud seeding causes tornadoes, and then you just insult me. And so, yeah, he got banned fast right after that. Hey, Caleb, yeah, I was actually thinking about saying that. The same people who think radar causes tornadoes and severe storms and manipulates the weather are the same people who thinks that the earth is still flat. The same group of people. Flat earthers are the same people who think radars cause tornadoes. Also the same ones who put tinfoil over their heads thinking aliens are gonna eat their brains or something. They're all the same, all the same group. All the same group. Oh my goodness. It's not flat. Nope, the earth is not flat. Despite what you may think. Despite what you may think looking at your software. I actually I have sometimes forgotten. I'm not even kidding. I've sometimes forgotten that like it's a globe because I look at these maps for, sometimes 16 hours in a day, and then I forget that it's a globe because I've been looking at it on a flat map. But nope, that's why you see this right here. Look at your satellite. Your satellite is tilted. Your satellite isn't straight. It's not straight at all. It's not a flat map. It's tilted. And uh-oh. Uh-oh, look at that public website, by the way. It's a globe. I hate to tell you, but it's not flat. It's not flat. Man. Yeah, it's for Plus members. I still haven't bought Plus yet, Joyce. I really need to. Yeah, there's a huge debate about that going on Twitter right now, so I just want to talk about that for a bit. I just felt like it was just every few streams we start to I do a rant about that stuff. But like I said, the last 2 months it's just been insane. And there's new conspiracy theories starting to pop up too. It's just been crazy. Well, now that I've gotten all that out of the way, gotten all that off my chest, I'm probably gonna go end and spend the rest of the day with my family because they want to watch a movie, and I do too. So we're probably gonna start concluding here shortly. There's still gonna be a lot of severe weather tonight, probably a tornado or two, but we are no longer under any tornado warnings. So we just lost our only tornado warning. There's still plenty of severes. There's only one significant severe though. There is just one significant severe. It is only that one. That's the only significant severe in the US right now. So there's not a lot of very notable severe weather happening. A lot of it is scattered severe storms. I'm not going to have my computer on, so if there is like a PDS tornado warning or something, I'm going to miss it. because I won't be paying attention to the weather. So tomorrow, what's tomorrow? Friday? Man, I'm not a fan of streaming on Fridays. I like to take Fridays off, but we will probably be live tomorrow. If not for coverage, then for at least a briefing, just letting you know about the severe threat. So I'll probably do at least a 1 hour live stream tomorrow. I'm not that busy anyways. It's just I like to spend Fridays with friends because all my friends are online on Friday nights. That's when everybody seems to be the most free. So tomorrow is Saturday. You're playing. You're playing. I know my days. Yeah, today's Thursday. You're playing. You made me check. Alright. Well, fun stream. Fun making fun of people. I hope you guys did enjoy. And if you still believe that the radar can cause tornadoes, like I said, pick yourself up a meteorology book. It's one I got was like, I don't know, it was probably $20. Saves you a lot of time. Really increases your brain cell count. So, yeah. Caleb, you can probably use that meteorology book. Increases brain cell counts. You could probably really use a couple of those. Oh, yeah. All right, I'm done. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new with the notification bell set to all, and share this channel with your family, friends, social media. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you for hanging out with me for 2 hours. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday night. Thank you, Mods from Mod Chat, everybody for being here. I really appreciate it once again. And I will catch you guys in likely tomorrow's live stream. We'll see, but I'll likely be live. So stay safe, watch for your weather, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your night. Goodbye. Stay safe, watch for your weather. Thank you, mods, for mod chat, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's live stream or the next live stream or video that I do.